Ongoing manhunt for what newspapers are calling the Connecticut Cannibal. More on this story as it develops. In other news, severe drought continues to plague the United States, with no end in sight. Arid conditions caused by climate change have led to water restrictions throughout the nation, especially in states west of the Rocky Mountains, some of which have reported record low rainfall this year. Uncontrollable wildfires have already broken out throughout California and parts of Oregon, with smoke from the blazes reaching as far east as New York. The National Park Service has reported that fish and wildlife are also being affected by the drought, with some shallow lakes and reservoirs in the Pacific Northwest being reduced to as much as 10% capacity. We go now to our field reporter Gordon Rostov in Washington State. How are things looking out there, Gordon? Eli, I'm speaking to you from a popular fishing hole known as Carl's Lake, just south of the town of Tiger. I'm currently standing on the lake bed where normally water would be up over my head. Instead, the lake has been reduced to a handful of shallow pools spread out over 20 or so acres of mud. Every summer, residents come down here to fish for rainbow trout, but this year fishing season has been canceled. Recreationalists haven't given up, though, and instead have ventured into the lake bed with metal detectors and shovels, seeking out whatever treasures might have fallen into the water over the years. The most common finds are fishing lures and bottle caps, but some valuables, such as an expensive wristwatch and other jewelry, have also been reported. Back to you, Eli. What about you, Gordon? Have you found anything? As a matter of fact, I did. I found 11 cents. Social media has been flooded with posts from similar treasure seekers in drought-stricken areas. All civilians are to evacuate.
Fuck me, it's hot out. Hey, you don't think this thing's radioactive, do you?
Oh, don't start.
What? It's a reasonable question.
Look, they already said it was safe. I assume they checked it with a Geiger counter.
You assume? Did you ask anyone if they checked it?
No, I didn't.
God damn it. Shit. Why don't we have a Geiger counter for shit like this?
Oh, shut your OCD ass up and get in the truck.
I'm gonna talk to Mike about it when we get back.
Yeah, good luck with that. Preliminary findings of Subject 72023-1, Arrowhead West Research Facility, Log 1. The time is 7:42 p.m. on the 3rd of July, 2023. My name is Dr. and I am examining Subject 72023-1 in an effort to determine its nature and origin. Object is an icosahedral structure that appears to be constructed of a smooth, unidentified ceramic with chamfered metallic edges and corners. Metal has been determined to be an alloy composed of titanium-48 and uranium-238. Faces are uniformly white in color, with some traces of mud remaining from the object's initial recovery location. There does not appear to be any identifying marks or inscriptions on the object. Subject 72023-1 is icosahedrically symmetrical, measuring approximately 1 meter between opposing faces and has a mass of 1,824.3 kilograms. Object does not produce heat and is cool to the touch. Object was discovered by civilians under a lake bed and transported to Arrowhead West Research Facility by the How the object came to rest under that lake bed and how long it has been there is unknown at this time. Despite the circumstances of its recovery, the object appears wholly undamaged. There are no cracks, chips, or scratches in its surface. Internal 3D scanning indicates a cavity inside the object and that the faces are approximately 2.84 centimeters thick. The contents of the object, if any, are unknown at this time. I suspect that Subject 72023-1 is a storage device, and will continue examination with the assistance of Drs. and in an attempt to open the object and determine the nature of any contents. End log.
Alert! All personnel. Containment breach in Sector 17. Unknown hazard. Automatic lockdown initiated. Containment breach in Sector 8. Unknown hazard. Automatic lockdown initiated. Containment breach in Sector 7. Unknown hazard. Automatic lockdown initiated. Please remain calm.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming. This is an emergency. The emergency alert system has been activated. This message is a broadcast of the emergency alert system. This is not a test. Information vital to your safety will soon follow. This message is broadcast under the authority of the United States Environmental Protection Agency, in conjunction with the Washington State Emergency Management Division. A hazardous materials warning has been declared for the following areas: Spokane, Spokane Valley, and Vera. A hazardous chemical leak has occurred at the Arrowhead West Research Facility, and may pose an immediate threat to persons in or around the affected areas. Hazardous materials teams are working to determine the extent of the leak and establish a perimeter to contain or neutralize the threat. At this time, persons inside of the affected areas are advised to evacuate immediately. Cover all exposed skin and close all windows and vents in your home and vehicle. Cover your nose and mouth with a mask with a filter rating of 95% or higher. If you have a gas mask that is CBRN rated, put it on and do not remove it until you have evacuated the area or the all clear is given. Monitor local news stations for additional updates as they become available. Please remain calm. Your cooperation is appreciated.
About the chemical spill at Arrowhead West Research Facility 2 nights ago. Washington State's Emergency Management Division has released a statement claiming that the situation is under control, and that people who were evacuated can return to their homes without worry. Some residents aren't so quick to return, though, as both the EMD and the EPA have refused to identify exactly what chemical or chemicals were involved in this disaster, and how many fatalities, if any, this spill has caused. However, WBRD has received the following audio from an anonymous source, allegedly from a police interview with a survivor of the event. A word of warning, the following audio contains some disturbing content. We shouldn't have opened it. We should have just put it right back where it came from and forgotten about it. Those men and women were some of the finest scientific minds I've ever met, and I'm sure the government won't even admit they ever existed. I mean, what do you expect from a clandestine scientific enterprise, huh? I mean, look at my hands. Notice anything strange about them? No fingerprints. We had this special soap we had to scrub with every day. Melted your prints right off. I have to wear rubber gloves just to pick up a glass of water. Oh yeah, we opened it. I don't know how we opened it, but we opened it. Fortunately for me, I was in the bathroom at the time. When I came back, the genie was out of the bottle and the stuff was all over the place. Looked like he'd been sprayed with acid, and Dr. was standing in a puddle of the stuff, dancing around trying to shake this translucent goo off her legs. I didn't realize it at the moment, but the stuff drips up, too. Yeah, in all the chaos, some of that stuff got onto the glass partition, and I could see some of it dripping down, and some of it dripping up. Must have crawled right up her legs. Anyway, I hit the panic button, and the lab starts locking down. At this point, Dr. ripping off her clothes, trying to get this stuff off of her, and says, I don't know what the hell that stuff is, but I watched that man turn into a pile of pink ooze on the lab floor. Oh, I don't know, something like 30 gallons of the stuff? Well, if it's not on the lab floor, maybe you should check the drains. Shit, maybe it burned its way down into the basement, I don't know. Hell slime? Is that what we're calling it? Stupid name. Both the EPA and the EMD, as well as the Washington State Police, have denied the authenticity of this recording, calling it an outright hoax. Residents of Spokane Valley suspect the event may be connected to the mysterious object recovered outside the town of Tiger earlier this week. This comes amid as yet unsubstantiated reports that similar objects have been found throughout the world. Several foreign governments, including Egypt, Russia, and North Korea, as well as a number of terrorist organizations, have claimed to possess one or more of the objects.
This message is a broadcast of the emergency alert system. This is not a test. Information vital to your safety will soon follow. This message is broadcast at the request of the Wisconsin State Police, in conjunction with the United States Environmental Protection Agency. A civil emergency message has been declared for the city of Eau Claire. A dangerous situation is currently taking place at Maplestone Mall, resulting in numerous fatalities. Hazardous material in the affected areas is not yet contained, and poses a significant risk of death to any and all exposed persons. At this time, all persons in the affected areas are advised to refrain from using or consuming any water obtained from plumbing fixtures, including for cooking, bathing, or cleaning. Civil water supplies have been interrupted for your safety. Monitor yourself and your surroundings for signs of contamination by hazardous materials, including chemical burns, dead or dying plant or animal life, and weakening or dissolution of organic materials such as wood or plastics. If you observe a translucent fluid that you cannot account for, or one that appears to flow or drip upwards or of its own accord, evacuate the area and immediately report its location to civil authorities. Do not attempt to contain or remove the fluid, as doing so puts you at extreme risk of exposure and death. Stay tuned to local news stations to receive information as it becomes available. Please remain calm. Your cooperation is appreciated.
Increasing the death count to 374 at this time. While containment measures are in place, all attempted methods of removing the so-called hell slime have failed so far, resulting in the deaths of 4 first responders. Investigators have determined that contamination of the building's fire suppression system was the method of exposure, causing the caustic substance to rain down upon the victims from the overhead sprinklers. Initial fears that public water systems might have been the target of the attack have been allayed, as rigorous testing of Eau Claire's water systems has found no contaminants. Due to the gruesome nature of the event, the FBI has determined the attack to be a deliberate act of terror. No group or individual has claimed responsibility at this time. Likewise, the source of the slime is currently unknown, though speculation abounds. We are currently awaiting an address from President Kennedy on the situation. Many speculate that the discovery of hell slime could spark a new arms race, and that attacks similar to that on Maplestone Mall, for which no effective defense exists at this time, could happen again. We go live now to the White House, where President Kennedy is approaching the podium. My fellow Americans, last week, the United States of America was the victim of an act of terror, the likes of which the world has never seen. Men, women, and children alike were victims of an attack so despicable that words fail to do it justice. On that day, July 15th, 2023, we entered a new era as a nation, an era in which a weapon far crueler and more dangerous than anything we have ever seen has become a reality and fallen into the hands of those who would seek to destroy us. Make no mistake, America will not bow to these threats, be they foreign or domestic, even under threat of this terrible new weapon. And those responsible for the tragedy in Eau Claire will be found, and they will answer for their crimes. All 374 of them. God bless you, And may God bless the United States of... It appears that something has happened at the President's address. We'll have more information for you after this break. Hey, what the hell's going on? Arrested following a raid on their compound. In addition to over 500 firearms and several incendiary devices, a quantity of hell slime was recovered from the location. In related news, threats from both Russia and North Korea against NATO countries continue today. Both nations claim to have a supply of hell slime and have threatened to deploy it against civilians in NATO countries if the organization does not disband immediately, drawing worldwide outrage. NATO leaders have refused this demand and have placed strict economic sanctions on North Korea and Russia until a disarmament agreement can be made. It is theorized that intercontinental missiles, military aircraft, and even drones could be outfitted with...
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming. This is a national emergency. Information vital to your safety will soon follow. The emergency alert system has been activated. This message is a broadcast of the emergency alert system. This is not a test. Information vital to your safety will soon follow. This message is broadcast at the request of the United States Department of Defense. Effects of exposure to an extremely hazardous substance known as hell slime have been reported throughout Europe and North America. It is believed that hell slime is being released from numerous commercial aircraft in the form of aerosol. At this time, 17 aircraft have been confirmed to be releasing or to have released hell slime onto populated areas, with additional aircraft expected to do so within the next 6 hours. If you are receiving this message, you are within the expected area of effect. Hell slime is a colorless, odorless, translucent fluid of varying thickness and density, which may easily be mistaken for water or other fluids. It does not dissolve in water or oil, and does not react with inorganic substances. Hell slime has been observed dripping down surfaces as a conventional liquid would, as well as upward against the flow of gravity, making it difficult to contain effectively. Hell slime is an extremely hazardous substance that causes a speedy and irreversible dissolution of organic matter, including flesh, plants, fabric, most plastics, and some building materials. Complete dissolution following direct exposure typically takes place within 30 to 60 seconds. Hell slime is not destroyed by this process, and will remain extremely dangerous, regardless of the amount of organic material it has destroyed. Hell slime has been shown to dissolve most types of clothing, including cotton, hemp, leather, and materials used in most footwear. Modern protective equipment has shown to be largely ineffective at preventing exposure. Direct exposure to hell slime will result in extreme pain and the formation of chemical burns that may extend to or past the bone. Following this, hell slime frequently enters the circulatory system, where it attacks surrounding tissues, as well as the heart. In the event of exposure, the only effective source of action at this time is immediate amputation of the affected body part before the slime spreads to other parts of the body. If the slime has spread to the chest or abdomen, nothing can be done to save the victim. At this time, all persons receiving this message are ordered to seek shelter indoors, preferably inside of a structure composed of inorganic building materials such as metal, stone, or concrete. Do not shelter underground or in a basement, as slime is likely to accumulate and pool at the lowest point of a structure. Closed-top vehicles are a viable means of shelter, although partial or total dissolution of tires may make driving exceedingly dangerous or impossible. Close all doors and windows to your shelter and block any cracks or holes with an inorganic substance such as silicone or polyurethane caulk, if possible. Do not attempt to use glue, epoxy, or tape, as these substances are organic in nature and ineffective at blocking hell slime. Be aware that hell slime may dissolve vinyl weather stripping on doors and windows. If you believe that hell slime has entered your shelter, put as much distance and inorganic matter between it and yourself as possible. Be aware that hell slime may begin dripping upwards without warning. Test suspect fluids by dipping organic material such as cotton fabric into it. Test all water before consuming it, as even minute amounts of hell slime can be deadly. If you or a loved one is exposed to hell slime, attempt to amputate the contaminated body part as soon as possible. If this is not possible, isolate the victim to protect yourself and others. There is nothing that can be done for them. Avoid contact with contaminated surfaces at all costs. Remain in your shelter until the all clear is given, where you are ordered to evacuate by civil authorities. Monitor local media outlets to receive more information as it becomes available. Please remain calm. Your cooperation is appreciated. This message will now repeat.